Assalamu alaikum everyone and very good morning. This is Amir Hamza. I'm a specialist from Sheikh Anwar Accounting and Auditing LLC. I hope you all are doing good. And today we'll be discussing something a really important topic of the Federal Degree Law 20 of 2018, that is circular number 8 of AML 2021. Okay. Uh, I've tried my level best to synchronize all the information in a very simple and in a very systematic manner so that it is really easy for you all to understand. Okay, so let us begin. To put it in a nutshell, you can also say that this is nothing but GoAML reporting requirements. So, what are the things we should be looking for, when it comes to uh, GoAML DPMSR, that is nothing but dealers in precious metal and stones reporting. Okay, so agenda for today will be transactions with a resident individual, transactions with non-resident individuals, and transactions with businesses entities. And there will be an information at the end of the presentation that is really essential to you all to know or to be aware of. So to begin with, we have transactions with resident individual. Okay, so what are the things that you should be aware of here? Okay, all cash transactions equal or exceeding 55,000 AED need to be reported in DPMSR. Here, the thing you should be very careful is all the cash transactions. When we say cash transaction, it is only cash transactions. Okay, it is not related to any bank transactions or using credit cards or checks, anything like that. We need to only focus on cash transactions. The circular number 8 says that you focus only on the cash transactions, okay, nothing else, nothing else. And it has to be equal or exceeding 55,000 AED. In addition to that, okay, obtain and verify identification documents. Now, suppose, let us say the Mr. X, has done a transaction, let's say for 70,000 AED. So you need to obtain his or her verification identification document. So what are those documents? The documents either has to be Emirates ID or the passport. Since we are dealing with the resident individual here, so every resident residing in UAE will have the Emirates ID with them, right? So you need to ask either their Emirates ID or the passport. Either one is enough actually. So the transactions not to be reported in DPMSR. Here, let us also focus on the things which should not be reported as well. Okay, only then we will have a clear-cut idea and clear-cut knowledge that okay, how to categorize the transactions. So let us see what are the transactions that need not be reported. So the first one, credit card. You have checks. You have local bank transfers, old gold or jewelry exchange. So as I said earlier in the previous slide, we have to focus only on the cash transactions. If the transactions are happening through credit card or the checks or any local bank transfer, we are not going to report. Now coming to the old gold or jewelry exchange. Suppose Mr. X, taking for the same example, suppose Mr. X comes to you and says that I want to exchange my old gold with a new gold or exchange the jewelry old jewelry with the new jewelry, and the transaction is above 55,000 AD, we need not report it since it is not cash transactions. Okay, such transactions equal or exceeding AD 55,000 need not be reported. As I said, it is not a cash transaction, so we need not worry or we need not report it. Note, if any suspicious arises, it has to be reported under STR. If you have any suspicion on Mr. X, you have to go with STR, that is nothing but suspicious report, okay, suspicious transaction report. you can always go with that. You have an option over there. If you think, Mr. X has done a purchase somewhere else, suppose Mr. X has purchased gold of 40 AED, suppose for example, and today he's purchasing of another, he's making a transaction of another 40,000 AD, and you have solid evidence, or you have reasonable grounds to uh, make, uh, suppose say that you have a reasonable grounds to say that he has done the transactions over and above 55,000 AD, not with you, but with a couple of other businesses, then you can always go with suspicious transaction report. Transaction with non-resident individual. Okay, now we are moving to the second category. The previous one was resident individual, non with now with the non-resident individual. All right. All cash transactions equal or exceeding AD 55,000 need to be reported in DPMSR. Again, the circular number 8 of the AML says that focus on the cash transactions. Okay, even if is a non-resident individual. Okay, focus on cash transactions only. In addition to that, obtain and verify identification document. Now, Mr. X might be a tourist, who has come to UAE, or he might be a diplomat, or he might be on a business trip, or on for any reason he has come to UAE, but it is for sure that he is not a resident. Again, his transaction, if it is in a cash, we will report it if it is above or equal to 55,000 AED. In addition, remember, obtain his identification document. So what are those documents? Either you can collect any national ID or the passport. Of course, if he is on a visit, or for other purposes he has come to UAE, he will have his passport, right? So we can ask him provide his passport. Transactions not to be reported in DPMS are in case of non-resident individual. Okay, so again, if we go through this, we will have a clear-cut idea how to categorize the transactions. So it is not a very hard things to remember. Transactions not to be reported are almost or very same in case of non-resident individual as well. Credit card transactions, or transactions made through the checks or any local bank transfer, and again the concept of gold or jewelry exchange. Okay, such transactions equal or exceeding 55,000 need not be reported. And of course, you always have the option of STR. That is, if you have any suspicion on Mr. X, you can go with suspicion transaction report. So let us move on to the third category, that is transaction with the businesses or the entities. Now, okay, I request you to please pay a keen attention here, because here you might have come into a dilemma or a confusion. But need not worry, I have made the things in a simpler manner so that you can understand it. Okay. So what are the things we should be very careful about here? So it's all cash transaction, first thing, all international wire transfers, and all transfers done through exchange houses. Okay. Remember, we are talking about transactions with businesses or entities. Okay. All cash transactions, all international wire transfers, all transfers done through exchange houses. If these transactions are equal and above 55,000 AD, need to be reported. Not just the cash transaction here with the case of businesses and entities, even the international wire transfers and transfers done through the exchange houses will be reported in case of transaction with businesses and entities. Okay, and of course, don't forget to obtain trade license and Emirates ID, passport of the representative. In case of businesses, what we have to remember is that we will always ask for the trade license of the entity. Okay, along with the trade license, we will also ask the Emirates ID or the passport of the representative. Okay, or somebody who, on behalf of the company or on behalf of the entity, has come to make the transaction. We will take his or her MS ID or the passport. All right. Moving further, we have transactions not to be reported under the businesses and entities. Okay, so all transactions or settlements via check or local bank transfers. Remember this, all transactions or settlements via check or local bank transfers. Now you might say there was said something regarding the bank, right? In the previous slide, it was, see, it was international wire transfers. Now we are talking about the local bank transfers. Local bank transfers need not be reported. Very simple, right? Now there are some aspects which come under the transactions with the businesses and entities where some confusions might arrive, but again, I've made it very clear, very simple. With regard to the transactions with the businesses or entities, some of the important areas where keen attention is required, as I said earlier. There might be some confusion, but need not worry. Upcoming slides will resolve your confusions. Okay. Uh, the settlements happening in USD to USD, dollar to dollar, or the settlements might also happen in dollar to AED, AED to USD, AED to AED, and it also involved local banks and foreign banks. Okay, the confusions related to all these aspects would be clear in the next slide. Okay, now let us focus on this flowchart. This flowchart will help you to resolve all the confusions what you might have. Okay, so the transactions happening within UAE, remember this. Okay, now we're talking about the transactions happening within UAE, not international. International wire transfers, we are going to report it as discussed in the previous slides. Correct? Very simple. Remember that. Now this slide talks about purely the transactions happening within UAE. Okay, so we have settlements, and the settlements that talks about reporting and not reporting. Okay, very simple. USD to AED, we are going to report it. Okay, there is a difference between the currency here, and USD to USD, we are not going to report it. And AED to AED also, we are not going to report it. To remember, it very easily, you can always have an concept in your mind that if there is a difference in the currency, first of all, you need to be very clear with that this transaction is happening within UAE. All right. And after that, to make it very simple or easy to remember, always remember that if there is a difference between the currency, you will report it. If there is no difference between the currency, you are not going to report it. That is what it says. USD to AED, you will report it, and USD to USD and AED to AED, you are not going to report it. Okay. Always remember, there is no difference between the free zone company and the mainland entities when it comes to the GoAML reporting. Always remember, it doesn't matter if the transaction had been made by any free zone companies or any mainland companies. Both of the category will fall under the reporting requirement when it comes to circular number 8 of the AML. Okay, and there is really important information that I want you all to remember. Okay, and this is also stressed by the circular number 8. Okay, it's something that every one of you should know. Okay, it is must that you maintain the records of all the documents and information related to the transactions for 5 years minimum. Circular number 8 of the AML says that it is must or you should. Okay, this is what the circular number 8 says. You should maintain all the documents or all the records related to the transactions for a minimum of 5 years. Okay, reporting to be done within 14 days of occurring the transactions. And circular number 8 also says that it is must that you have to report the transactions within 2 weeks of occurring. Okay, and there is an article number 28 of the Federal Degree Law, okay, of 2018, which says that if you violate any instructions given by the law, there would be a jail or a minimum fine of 50,000 up to five. It can go up to 5 million. Okay, it's really simple things, or it seems very easy, but given the circumstances, it is really important to follow all the law or all the instructions given by the authorities. Okay, So remember this two things: 5 years for minimum 5 years. You have to maintain all the records and information, and reporting has to be done in 2 weeks within the 2 weeks of opening the information. Okay, and make sure that we don't make article number 28 to be active against any one of your any businesses. Okay, so let the article number 28 sit there. We will follow all the instructions provided by the authority. Okay, so that's all today about the article number 28. Inshallah, I'll be back soon with another session. Okay, on some other topics. Okay, inshallah, we'll discuss uh, some more topics in upcoming days, inshallah. And I'll be giving a link in the description below related to the circular number 8 of the AML. You can visit that as well. Okay, and if you have any doubts or any confusions, you can always comment in the comment section. I'll try my best to resolve or to clear all your confusions and the doubts. Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice day, everyone.